Mini roster updates in today's video that have happened over the last week or so. Some of these happening within the last 24 hours. A player getting banned for some of the craziest crap in this is the most EA thing that I have seen. And honestly, it's making Apex considered like a joke. And honestly, we're seeing a lot of games adopt this oversensitive snowflake kind of mentality of just banning people for all kind of crazy stuff. And when you see what this guy seemingly was banned for and losing his ALGS career over, it's unbelievable. We're trying to get this guy unbanned and trying to send it out to everybody that we know that could help. But yeah, let's dive in and talk about all the roster changes that have happened over the last week that you may have missed. And some, like I said, have happened just recently in the last couple of hours. So firstly, going back many days ago, you've probably seen this and heard this, but like I said, this is like an all-in-one video. So Team Orchid comes out, Hambino, Rambo are looking for one, this being Panic, splitting up from the roster. No surprise here, to be honest with you. We know this team was good, but when you watch Panic compete for the MVP status in a LAN that he didn't even make finals in, you got to assume that Panic's going to get a really good opportunity here with a good signing organization or a good signing roster. So I'm obviously predicting that that's the way things are going. It didn't seem like there was any bad blood, at least via Twitter. Hambino comes out and say he's looking for one with Pro League with Rambo, and then you would even see Panic down in the comments below trying to recommend some people as well. So just seems like that's probably what it was. Panic probably got a bag somewhere. There's a lot of teams that are looking for a good fragger who could just outshine or just go crazy, and Panic is honestly the best guy on the market for that. I can't think of anybody else in the entire scene that, when you talk about the entire scene completely, right? I feel like slaying power right now, he is up there with the greatest. And so when you're talking about trying to find somebody on the tier 2 market, that doesn't even exist. Like Panic is probably your only guy. Besides, some of the other roster changes that you'll see in just a bit, maybe you can consider some of those as well. Also, you got a world champion. This just shows that, literally, this is going everywhere. Rostermania is being hit all over the place. You've also got a world champion here, the former GoNext roster, and also a player for Navi, also getting involved in the Rostermania, saying that it wasn't a part of his decision-making, according to Apex Rostermania. Sykes also looking for a team for the rest of the year. Look how much is going down here. And here's where I think you start to get into some of the conversations, right? Okay, if Sykes is going to be on the market, Panic's on the market. Sykes, Panic, obviously both of these are really talented, but then you got another person, YanYa, on the market looking for a team that I can play any role possible, but I would like to IGL. Now, I get it. YanYa wants to IGL, but we know YanYa also has some slaying power, a really good, talented player at the game. So YanYa, Sykes, and Panic, obviously up there on the market. Some teams are about to definitely get an upgrade. Lufka also inside of the EMEA world, also looking for a team. And you've just seen so many roster changes and so many people. And, it's kind of, one of those things where you're watching some teams that have been longtime duos with people break up and just go into separate ways. And this is kind of becoming the norm. And Apex has already been normal for people making roster changes that have been together for a while, or, people making roster changes that, after they've tried one tournament or something and it didn't work out. So now it's getting so normal because I never would have thought we saw the day where Hal broke up with Reps, or Hal broke up with Reps or Evan, and then Evan break up with Rep. And now everybody's just always breaking up with each other. And roster changes are just becoming more and more common. Also, Exo comes out and they're looking for a new player as well. Chaotic Much and K-Swinny going to be teaming up. And a lot of people in the comments were kind of, throwing shade at Arctic. I feel like Arctic has had his moments, and especially when you consider the FaZe Clan run. I think they had some really good moments there. But I do think a lot of people kind of saw this roster change happening. And so the whole Exo stuff is a little weird, because you would also see Apex Rostermania come out to say that Exo Clan apparently leaked is shutting down and leaving Apex permanently after dropping their roster. And, also saying not sure if it's only Apex, but more soon. Okay, when you go back to this tweet, K-Swinny did say looking for one and looking for org with Chaotic Much. So it looks like Exo obviously is leaving the scene, but you would have the CEO, the owner of Exo, come out to say that my org is shutting down, ? I didn't know that. And so this has been weird, because also the account has left the tweet up, which makes it seem like it wasn't complete misinformation. Exodus also has a question mark after his name, or after the Exo stuff. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's complete troll. It seems like maybe that's not going to happen. Anyhow, we will obviously keep you up to date there as things unfold. Also, inside of the Furia camp, many people are wondering, I don't think maybe expecting, but wondering, will Furia make a change? And Madness comes out to say, amidst all the roster changes, I sat down with the boys and we all mutually agreed that this roster has the potential to do big things and should not change. Our land performance was a mix of bad luck, individual mistakes, and over-aggression, so nothing that can't be fixed. Looks like they will obviously continue to truck along. O-Rain comes out for Aurora inside of the EMEA region, and I think this shocked a lot of people. But he said, today I'm leaving Aurora by myself, and thank you everyone for your support. Wish nothing but the best for the boys. Strafing Flame saying, it's a terrible day. Some people were saying, are you trolling? Like, no way. We just watched O-Rain leave 9 Impulse, and you would even see like how close these guys were in the picture. I mean, they were bros. They were butt grabbing. That's the peak of being bros, is when you're comfortable enough to touch each other like that. So, I mean, it sucks to see. It happened. They move on, and new rosters emerge. Now, Aurora was also getting a little bit of a backlash by, signing people that, quote, like, aren't as known. And I feel like that's such a stupid thing. Like, we are recycling a lot of too many pros, probably, or a lot of pros, and that probably shouldn't be recycled, right? I almost feel like they need to go back to that Alberlelli stage where you're kind of kicked out and you have to work your way back in through challengers and through PSQs and like as a nobody, or like have to start back from square one. And I feel like that's where, the route and the grind that some of those guys need to go through. And, don't get me wrong. There are some pros that definitely are talented that may be having bad days, bad weeks, bad metas, whatever, that I can see why they're recycled sometimes because, they're just generational style talent. Like they are going to get better again. And, so I get it on one hand, but I do think that there's nothing wrong at all by trying to scout tier 2 talent or someone down here in the minor leagues, whatever you want to call it. But, anyways, that's a lot of backlash that was going on, and it is what it is. Also, Sorcerer comes out looking for a team for Pro League as well. Like I said, there's so many teams that it goes on. Hal even giving the official vouch here saying an underrated IGL, someone pick him up. Shubi also saying was a pleasure. So unfortunate to see here from the LG roster. Who knows what's going to happen there, because you'll see some other stuff going on here as well. Sweet comes out. This is many days back, about a week or so back, showing the, Superman thing. And it's almost like it's his time. And it's just like, let's do this kind of vibe. And here comes Sweet with Luminosity saying sweet dreams. Everybody was like, okay, here we go. He's back, right? And that kind of felt like what was going on. Sweet had kind of made it feel that way with all the cryptic tweets that he's been posting. But he also comes out to say, stop baiting these people. I currently have not made any official plans, and it just seems like a bunch of trolls going on here. So who knows what's really happening. Sweet is a trolly kind of guy. Verholst also said that just sounds like what someone would say when they do have plans. So who knows what's going to happen with Sweet. Maybe he's just going to continue to spectate, or maybe he does plan to come back and play again. Now, here's where things get a little mixy. Nasky is in a very weird situation. He posted yesterday, if I don't get picked up, here's my options as an update. Basically, here's everything that's going on, because Nags is going to be moving on. We've had the emergency situation from Amphi. Number one, he said, I can play solo in Pro League and pray to God that I can rat well enough to get top 22 in Pro League to qual for the next Pro League and then build a team. Or number two, I can play with 2 new players who I know I could make a God tier team with, but we'd have to go via Challenger Circuit and already missed 2 CC tournaments because we were Pro League, obviously, so I guess my chances now would be low. Not a bad inference there because, Nasky, obviously, they trolled and, had a really hard time during the BLGS. So it's not like you're about to just dive into Challenger Circuit and wreck the competition and just easily qual. It will be challenging. And that is definitely worth noting. So I agree. Maybe that is not necessarily the best route. Option number three, pray I get a Pro League invite next split with a 2-mentioned player. So who knows, obviously, what's going to happen. Who knows what route this will go. But anyways, he said, safe to say that Nags leaving has royally screwed me over. I spent the last 24 hours in Discord DMs and Discord calls when I'd rather play scrims and ranked, and I've also got contractually BS I have to deal with. Extremely stressed out. The nice and supportive messages have been keeping me going, so I love every single one of you little freakers who are backing me. So weird, crazy stuff going on behind the scenes, and Nasky obviously in a very weird predicament. Nags on his side of things for Twitter, it's not necessarily been a lot of communication. However, there's been a lot of inferences going on out there as to where he may be landing himself as well. More on that later on. Now, as far as Nags is concerned, really the only thing we saw was from NIP officially. It just said we made the difficult decision to move Nasky and Nags to the bench. This wasn't easy, but we believe it puts us in the best position to build a championship-winning roster in Apex Legends, and we want to thank them for their commitment and their hard work during this time, and wish them all the best. Nasky obviously coming out to say best org I've dealt with. Thank you to, tagging some of the administrators as well for, taking the chance on us and to show true professionalism and all that stuff. And Nags also saying the short amount of time that I was here at NIP, you guys have treated me like family. Shame the story ends this way, but wish you guys the best. Also, wanted to throw out that Vayne also posted they were looking for one for Pro League and EWC as well, because they had obviously made some roster changes after the fact. And unfortunately, the plans with their new third have already fell through. So back to the drawing board, but plenty of talent to choose from. Also, had to make mention of this just as we close out the video. This is some weird stuff, man. So this guy, Rix the Baby, comes out. He's an ALGS professional player inside of the APAC South team for Young Black Ricky. Now, this is kind of crazy. He basically got permanently banned for one of the most soft things I've seen in a while. He posts and said, so after an amazing ALGS Open with the boys, Young Black Ricky and I come home to permanently be banned. I'm frustrated how EA don't ban for voice chat, only typing, but I had a moment of weakness. Let me give you a backstory. Open land scrims. We had all this stuff going on. We got 20th plays. Some guy comes in and he's kind of just trashing on me. And so he tells me I should neck myself, and I called him a toxic B. And after this comment, as soon as it was done, he told me he was going to, get me banned. He's going to report me and all that stuff. And it happened, but this guy got permanently banned for this. And he said, I tried to appeal. I tried to go to EA help, and I just get, automatic response denying my request. So it is really not good here. I mean, seriously, a permanent ban for this. You can see nobody in the comments are really, digging this. Like Vosky, a perma ban for calling someone that is pure blasphemy. You've got everybody, tagging devs that they know, and even Strafing Flame saying this is the most screwed up ban of all time. Free my boy. Like, come on now. We cannot be permanently banning people for, not even just it's one thing if you're going insane on the text, right? If you're just calling out some crazy stuff, maybe. But just calling someone toxic and a little profanity, I just don't think that that's a permanent ban at all, ever, in any game. That's just my opinion. But so I'm trying to do my part, tag some people, and see if this guy can get a little bit of a revert here, because I don't think this is the route that it should go. Speaking of routes that we should go, many people are a little worried about the future route of the ALGS. Of course, Sweet kind of gave that infamous leak a couple of months back that maybe ALGS is not going to be a thing at the end of this year. Where are we going? Could it be some sort of secondary league, like a Face It league, or like an ESL type stuff? I don't know, obviously, where the future, what the future holds here, but we've seen lots of concerns here because EA has reportedly come very close to chopping off all of the ALGS staff, and ALGS is almost, I guess, going to cease to exist or something. I don't know. So many people have been worried about the future of ALGS, and it seems like maybe Apex Esports may have somewhere to exist, but it might not necessarily be an EA-backed thing, and it may be something like Face It, whatever. Well, GoNext CEO was pretty frustrated and agreed that Face It sucked, and actually posted, I guess, after 2 years of supporting Apex Legends and multiple teams and experiencing one of the best moments in my life in Japan, I can safely say that I am quite disappointed. I don't give a crap about the money we have spent to attend this tournament. I am just frustrated. I applaud the effort of EA trying to give an opportunity to a lot of teams to experience a LAN tournament, but this feels wrong and rushed. I can't even see my own team play because Face It isn't working properly. It's unfair for anyone that has experienced a properly organized LAN to have this as a comparison. I hope everything is fixed because every player and every fan deserve better. So this was some frustrations a couple of weeks ago back at the event, and many people in general were just saying this may have been a fun moment or time for a lot of people to get together and have this big LAN party style thing, But it was one of those things where it's also, I get it. It doesn't feel like a professional organized event or whatever. You know, maybe if you got that many people at a venue, that many people trying to travel to the same venue at the same time, that many people with all of their families trying to go out to dinner, all in the same area, it's probably super congested. But anyhow, I get it. There's probably a lot of chances for technical difficulties as well when you're talking about so many teams playing at once, so many games going on throughout the day. And Face It trying to do their best, I guess, to host all of that stuff. So where does that mean that we're going in the future of Apex Esports if EA is going to continuously go in this direction of not necessarily, supporting financial needs inside of the community here? Well, some financial needs, and they are still supplying some stuff, just not all stuff. Like, for instance, I'm pretty sure they're still taking care of the travel, just not taking care of, like, the housing. And that's to some degree, it's fair. Obviously, like, some people could go crazy on the housing, and you just got to learn to all sleep on some bunk beds or something. If you're a team, get together and nobody gets their own room, whatever, we're all sleeping together. I don't know, but there's some cuts that obviously have been made. They probably needed to be made to some degree. Maybe they've been cut too much. Maybe it's just the reality of the scene. Maybe our esport is not necessarily going as fast as we had hoped. And obviously, we'll keep you up to date with everything that develops on further inside of the ALGS future. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below. If you want to stay up to date with everything inside of the world of Apex Legends esports with rosters, results, news, and much more, then like and subscribe. And until the next time, we'll see you all later.